estimable guests, I would like to greet you all with love and respect, and I hope MUSIAD EXPO trade fair will be auspicious for our country for the 18th time. Due to the pandemic, the fair and also all the other relevant activities are physically and as well virtually conducted. So this fair is a hybrid event, and it is fully taking place in line with the three basic rules we have: wearing a mask, social distancing, and hygiene. To protect the health of people and to ensure that ensure that production continues without any shortcoming, we're trying our best, and we believe we will emerge very stronger out of this pandemic period by achieving those two together. During such a critical era, having such a critical organization taking place is the reason that that we participate to such an important event. To reap the fruits of today, tomorrow, we are going through an era when we need to seize all the opportunities. We're determined to turn everything into an opportunity by making the best out of everything. In the face of the pandemic, we are doing all things necessary and take steps that our scientists suggest. In the face of this fight against the pandemic, even many developed countries fell insufficient, but Turkey positively distinguished itself and clearly showcased its infrastructure in the second wave of the pandemic, during which there is a turmoil in the world. We have a relatively better and more positive stance. And we are trying our best to reduce the scope of the challenges that come with the pandemic. We are mobilizing all of our resources as state to keep employment, export, production, investment continue, from our farmers to artisans, from craftsmen to those citizens in need with lower income. We have reached out to everyone and provided assistance with Karze Hassan Fund that was established by Independent Industrialists and Businessmen Association is very pleasing for us to see. Both the results related with the pandemic and as well the challenges that our economy is faced with, of course, will be tackled with the cooperation and solidarity we, all 83 million people of this country, will portray, and this is how we will achieve our objectives. Therefore, we all have duties. We all have some sacrifices to make. The Ministry of Treasury and Finance, Central Bank, and all other public authorities, as well as private sector enterprises, will hopefully continue to work in a much more stronger fashion after this point. We will keep a close track on our economic policies and also at the same time raise the bar of our democracy quality levels, and on the other hand, of course, we're engaged in preparations which will give a relief to our people in terms of our welfare and economy. Distinguished friends, every reform that took place in our country, every change that took place in this country, and every success achieved indeed belongs to us. Our constitution was prepared with an understanding of democracy and freedom. We have amended it for that, and we have rolled up our sleeves to prepare a brand new constitution, but due to CHB's actions, we could not achieve maybe outcomes. There are some who refrain from preparing a draft for constitution with us, but it has now come clear that they were engaged in some other hidden acts that isolated us, and it has now become obvious why the constitution-related works have been of a stumble. So that's why, by way of increasing the quality of human capital and all other sources, we have made the access to just and fair positions stronger. We have followed our national togetherness and unity closely. In the field of economy, we have made many reforms and put them in practice. And this helped us move the macroeconomic position of our country way forward. We have never interrupted the course of our reforms, have never given up on our change, the understanding of change. And in law and economy, we have made two great movements, changes. To further deepen the reliance, the trust of our people into justice and law, we have prepared a very comprehensive judicial reform. Our Assembly put three judicial reforms in effect. It goes the same for economy. With tremendous changes in ease of doing business index, we made sure that our country moved up to the 33rd rank out of 190 countries by jumping almost 40 ranks upwards. So in economy, we are determined to bring our country into a new era of emergence. There are some, of course, ongoing studies regarding the new judicial package, and we will bring it to the attention of our National Assembly before long. The Human Rights Action Plan, the preliminary studies of which have now been complete, will be concluded on the basis of a much more comprehensive process of negotiation. To make sure that our nation looks into the future with confidence, we have been trying everything, making everything possible, and refrain from nothing that is needed. And now we know that we somehow need to take some bitter experiences, and the interest rate increase, the key rate increase made yesterday is a result of that, but our target is to bring the inflation rates to single-digit numbers in mid-term, and this way ensure that the total interest rates and the all other rates will be brought down. Inflation, interest rates, and exchange rate vicious circle should be tackled with in Turkey. Otherwise, we will have to go through these discussions over and over again and pay all these heavy prices over and over again. I always reiterate and say it out loud once again now here. Inflation is an outcome, and interest rate is the reason. And inflation and interest rates are not outcomes. And interest rates, all those rates, before everything else, is exploiting people by way of making money out of money. So with this new economy reform, we will be concentrating on this matter and spend many hours to save, to liberate our country from this vicious circle. To achieve our objectives, we need, of course, concrete support by our people, to come by our people and our investors and entrepreneurs. We, first things first, need to bring investment from abroad into our country, and we have taken steps for assets peace. So everything that we have within the country, any amount, any personal amount of assets will be registered, and this will be opening up a new horizon for all the entrepreneurs and investors. So what is our concern? Our concern is that, do you have some money? Then investment. Do you have money? Then employment. Then production, and with production, export. So this four-pillar mechanism, if it operates, I firmly believe that we will stand up tall and sound again. By mobilizing local and international investors, we will ensure the acceleration of permanent and lasting investments take place, and we will increase the level of trust felt for Turkish lira, and we need to ensure that the FX rates are reduced on our deposit accounts. The sovereign savings and as well as outsourced and foreign sources should help for sustainable economic growth. Stability and trust are the milestones of this process, and this is how we take our steps forward. We create a climate and atmosphere for everyone, for them to trust in and rely on Turkey. And with all these steps, we will be making everything possible, everything necessary possible. And the companies or the parties related with trade and production have a lot of responsibility to take. The Turkish Exporters Assembly, the Union of Chambers and Commodity Exchanges of Turkey, Independent Industrialists and Businessmen Association, and the like associations and assemblies are expected to undertake a very fruitful, very constructive and sincere work together. And those associations should not consider one another as competitors or peers. We believe that they complete one another. All those investors, both within the country and outside the country, the more they cooperate and the more closely they work, the sooner and faster we will achieve our targets for our country, for our nation, and for our business world. We will never leave the path of racing in almsgiving, in benevolence, and we should never forget that. If there is a representative of MUSIAD opened in a country, and if our investment volume in that specific country where the new office is opened is not folded by 5 times, then it means that there is a problem. If there is an export representative that comes operational in a specific location, and if there is not an increase observed in the export volumes there, then it means there's a problem. And if in locations where we have bilateral trade agreements, and if the interest rates increase and export volume is low, then it means that we should once again rethink thoroughly and assume that there must be a problem. So all these opportunities to be seized give us a chance to go through and catch all the opportunities available. So this era will be based on the construction of a working in cooperation and close coordination. During the pandemic, there has been many, of course, changes. There have been many changes in the business making and also habits of many in the world. And one other indicator of this is the virtual event, hybrid event we are carrying out now. Cooperating, making decisions, coming to terms, and managing all the remaining processes, and now are possible through online platforms without personal or face-to-face meetings. So this method that has some advantages time-wise and of course cost-wise should be utilized in the best fashion possible. However, there is a problem to be solved. Physical examination or inspection related issues in between the buyer, the procurer, and the vendor should be solved for us to create trust, and MUSIAD and DAIG-like organizations have a lot of responsibility to assume in this regard, and with their own actions, this lack of physical touch problem can be tackled through your help. If you do not do that, then some others will do it instead of you, and then you will then have to be paying the price of that. So every relevant authority should be proactive to ensure the physical processes also are possible, and that's why it's a must for every relevant party to meet the needs and the conditions of every process. We are ready to work on this path with all those who believe and trust in the future of our country. We are ready, and we will support every step that will turn this crisis to our favor for employment, for export, for production, for investment. We will continue to be with those people who are for all of these by creating a higher capacity of production and export, from design to production to manufacturing. In every stage, we will ensure the transition to a state-of-art advanced technology process and accomplish our objectives. Every province of our country will, of course, be very enthusiastically take place in this act, in this movement of mobilization. And our business world has the capacity, ambition, enthusiasm, tenacity to achieve that. For Turkey's growth, development, I would like to say that we're thankful to them, and may God bless them all those who support the employment, production, or export, or other things for our country. And I would like to thank the Independent Industrialists and Businessmen Association for contributing the whole process in its every bit. I hope that this fair, this trade fair and Congress will be auspicious for everyone. And once again, thank you all. Stay in health.
Sayın Cumhurbaşkanımız, izniniz olursa günün anısına hediyelerini takdim etmek üzere MÜSIAD Genel Başkan Vekili Sayın Ali Reis Topçu ve MÜSIAD Genel Başkan Yardımcısı Sayın Mehmet Akif Özyurt'u sahneye davet ediyorum. Buyurunuz lütfen.